I just wanted to go back a couple years and do this album review, seeing how a lot of people was talking about Common's album Nobody's Smiling, and that previously, he didn't work with Kanye on this one. His last album, he didn't work with Kanye, and the album before that, where he did that whole different type sound. I forget the name of it, but people wasn't feeling that album. The one before that, I don't think it was something else, and before that was B, because I know he put out 3 albums on Good Music, period. It was the B album. Was it Electric Circus? It wasn't Electric Circus. I forget the other one where he had that one beat and that one song with Pharrell, and then it was The Dreamer the Believer, I think, is the first album where he strayed off. But anyway, I just went back to The Dreamer the Believer, which was released December 20th, 2011, to just see, since that was his last project, and he has been away for a minute, which I even said, the way he delivered the album, I didn't know too much about it. I didn't know he was dropping the album, and it was a minute, before we seen, Common, because it just seemed like it was just that Drake beef that spawned into his album, and then once it came out, it was talked about, and then he just went away, did movies, TV shows, and shit like that. So at the end of the day, it's like, let me go back and see if I was missing something. So I definitely went back and listened to his album, and no, I didn't miss anything. It was a great album, like I thought when I had reviewed it, because I thought that I had it on this channel and I didn't. It was my old channel that I deleted, so I just went back, and put it out there. So it's like, fuck it, I'm doing it again. So for those who remember the album, watch the review, you ain't gotta watch this, but if you want to hear my interpretation on the album, feel free to watch it. But it got 12 tracks. You got Maya Angelou, Nas, John Legend, all featured on the album. So that's a good take, because he did most of the songs himself without features, and you don't really want an album that's filled with features. The first track, The Dreamer, featured Maya Angelou. Of course, we all know that's like a great song, because he got Maya Angelou to do her spoken word, and they kind of had their little riff, because it was like she doesn't approve of him using the N-word, and he expressed himself, he respects that opinion, but he has a motive for why he used it. And it was crazy because they got into it over that, and then she's on the album. So that was, dope in itself. She gave his blessing and she got on the album. So I thought that was big to have a rapper have somebody so prolific as Maya Angelou on his album. But the song, The Dreamer, it was dope. A soulful beat. I like that hook. The lyrics, of course, always on point, and his flow was cool. And then Maya Angelou, icing on the cake. Ghetto Dreams featuring Nas. Of course, a lot of people was whatever about that song. You know what I mean? They had some liked it, some didn't. I liked it. It was dope. You know what I mean? That beat was dope, hard as fuck. Took Common back to that, that boom bap type hip hop. You know what I mean? Good hook, flows, and the lyrics and the content was straight. You know what I'm saying? And it just gave you that NYC feel, and he's from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty fly. Blue Sky, of course, we all remember that song because it was on every fucking commercial. Wasn't that shit on like a car commercial too? I don't know, but I just remember that soulful beat. That hook was good as hell, man. I like his flow, the lyrics, and the content. It's such a great record that you can throw that on at any time, and feel some type of way about it. Because I think he did Blue Sky, So Sweet, and Celebrate, all his visuals, for the album. But Blue Sky definitely was a good one. And then we move on to number 4, So Sweet, which we all know is a Drake diss, which is crazy because most people don't take the time to put a diss record on their album like that. We haven't seen it in a minute. But then he tried to say it wasn't about Drake, but we put 1 and 1 together equals 2. It was about Drake. People didn't like this diss record because the one where he did Ice Cube was kind of different, to where it's like Ice Cube came at him in a way and Common was defending himself. But to see Common try to be the aggressor in this sense and talk the way he talked, a lot of people was questioning, like, we don't get it. Like, you going at Drake, my nigga. You feel me? But in my opinion, he lost that battle because you're the older cat, and it was over a female. I don't care what Common tried to say in the interviews to clean it up. It was over a female. And you looked soft because it's like, how can I lose a girl to somebody like that? And us as men go through that, where you with a chick and then you find out she's straight away to a motherfucker and you like, that's what you going for? You don't understand it, but sometimes it's better to keep your mouth closed and keep it moving. And he didn't do that. And Drake handled it like a G. The stay scheming shit, he finished them, because at that point Drake was only tapping him like little shit, throw Serena name in that shit, right? Do that. But then he came with that shit. Drake said, fuck it. Stay Scheming verse, killed it. Straight up. You know what I mean? And at one point when they played, they'd do straight Drake verse when they played Stay Scheming. They wouldn't even play. Yeah, it was over for Common after that. I think once that came out, I think people stopped fucking with the album critically. Like, they didn't fuck with it no more. Regardless of how great it was, I mean, yeah, but shit. So that song was great, but it didn't hold no punching power. It's like Drake was Mayweather and Common was everybody else Mayweather. Far it's like, oh, you doing good, but you ain't got no, punching power. And Drake comes to knockout. You dig? So, I guess. Moving on to Gold. I like the mellow beat, that soulful hook. His flow was bananas on that record. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, like he actually spazzing. And the storytelling really got me on that record, because like when this album came out, I didn't really listen to it but maybe once or twice. Now, I'm going to say once and skim through it. A lot of these songs I didn't listen to. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard this, I was like, wow, he actually has some songs on here. But what I didn't do was go and, you know how people do with albums, they'll compare this one to that one. I didn't compare this one to the other one, even though I think they put out the same amount of songs, and it kind of. But yeah, Gold was a good record. Loving Our Lost, that beat was dope. That sample was kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I like when he do records like this, because it's like, wow, what is he actually talking about? Another great storytelling record. He does a lot of storytelling on this record, and this is the comment where I feel like it should have been on Nobody Smiling. You know what I mean? But that was a good record. Raw, I thought it was okay. To me, it sounded like a filler. Sorry, but it do. Cloth, it's a love song. I don't care what you say. It's a love song. Good content. You know what I mean? That mellow melodic beat. That cool ass hook. His flow was on point, and he was honest in that song. Like that, you don't get no more honest than that. Like when it comes to songs like that, you could tell some spite just went in there and wrote some shit because it sound cool. But when you can give certain situations to where it touch you in a certain way, like yo, that had to come from a real place to write it. It's a difference. See, I like to write. You know what I'm saying? I still sometimes to my female friends or certain people, I would still scribe a letter down like yada yada. And certain shit, if you force it, you can see it because you won't like it. So as a writer, you can tell when you forcing something, it won't flow right. But when you definitely speaking from the heart, you let everything go and just let it flow, it comes from a real place. So that's why I know that song, half these songs come from a real place, from a writer perspective. Now, did he write them all? Who knows? But I can definitely tell with the writing, yeah, they come from a real place. Moving on to Celebrate, we all know that song. You know what I mean? We've heard it, we've seen the video. It's a celebration record, and we all should celebrate life. You know what I mean? Doing the good and bad. At least I do. I celebrate no matter what. You know what I mean? The beat, lyrics, the concept, the hook, all that flows into one and makes a good song. You definitely can still throw that on this day in any situation, if it's a party or, you know what I mean, just throw that song in the mix and everybody they start grooving and dancing and shit. Real shit. So that's a timeless record to me. Windows, Eyes to the Soul. I had to listen to the song twice to get, because at first I was like, I don't really know, but then I listened to what it was saying. Windows are eyes to the soul, and you be able to tell the type of person you're dealing with. So I definitely fuck with that. That storytelling was crazy. I had to listen to it like, wait, why would I look into like the window? I thought he was looking at the aspect of looking out the window and seeing shit, but it's like, no, the windows are the eyes to the soul. So definitely a good record, man. That beat was smooth as shit. I like that hook. I thought it was cool. His lyrics, nothing can match him when he really spitting. The Believer, I thought it was okay. John Legend did his thing. Soulful song though, but I don't know. It just didn't touch me in a way where Common and John Legend can get together, because John Legend can, yeah, when he really on this soulful shit, he can, man, whoo, he can touch you in a certain way, man. And the last track, Pop's Belief, it was Common Dad, spoken word from Common's Pops, and to me that's classic. If it was or if it wasn't, still it ended on the right, way. I get an album an 8.5 out of 10. I like 10 out of 12 song production, an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely with this album and this album, definitely a good look. I think Common has a lot of gold albums, so I don't know if the Dreamer the Believer went gold. I'm gonna look that up. But I definitely feel like his new joint should go gold at least, because it's not a bad project once you really take it for what it's worth and listen to it. But that's my 2011 review. I didn't review it. on this channel, so I decided to give it a good look. Y'all check it out, and I'll see y'all, man. Thanks for watching.